Hello and welcome to Scots United, where I, Scott, and my team of Scots, who are also me, bring you the latest in movies, television, and popular culture. Now, this week we will be focusing on television, which is not a shock, because there's a lot happening, a lot starting, so let's get to it. And we're starting with Netflix.
Hey Scott, I took a nap earlier, so try not to judge my hair. So look, we've established in the past that we are not the biggest cheerleader for Ryan Murphy. The Normal Heart was important work. Feud was great. But I have found American Horror Story to be generally ridiculous and unwatchable, and like Glee went off the rails and just became about stunt casting and nonsense.
Scream Queens was a waste of Jamie Lee Curtis.
So I admit, when I saw the trailer for The Politician on Netflix, I was curious, I was interested. I thought that was a really well-edited, fun, engaging trailer that made me curious. But now I've watched the first episode.
Uh-oh.
I was perplexed at first by the presence of a disclaimer at the beginning of the show about like mental health and seek help if you need help. But I quickly realized why. Now, Netflix has received some justified pushback for 13 Reasons Why, because it was sort of a show that seemingly glorified suicide, and suicide rates went up after it aired amongst young people, and people seemed to think there was a correlation there, because it sort of dramatized and glamorized suicide. And now we have episode 1 of this show, where we have a gay individual taking their own life, and I don't know why. Like, I understand why narratively this character was removed from the storyline to push the narrative agenda along. But I don't know why he had to kill himself. I really don't know why that had to happen. I don't know why that it had to be done in such a violent way at all. I don't know why this individual couldn't have been killed by a car accident or something tragic to still invoke a response from the population that it currently, the way it's written, invokes a response, but without having another gay person kill themselves. I just don't know why it's necessary, and frankly, it frustrates me and angers me the more I talk about it.
Yeah.
Pulling back from that, I just feel like, once again, this is one of those shows where Ryan Murphy wants to have this made-up place where all these super rich people are, and he likes to just lavish and, marinate in this sort of like crazy, richer than anybody you would ever know kind of situation. But not for any reason. I don't know that he's making a comment on it. Not the one that I can see. I think he just enjoys, crazy over-the-top set design that's way beyond the reach of any normal person.
I've often thought his aesthetic sometimes is like Wes Anderson, but not as kitschy or clever or interesting or with any perspective, and just like rich cranked to 11.
He has Ben Platt in the lead role, who I think rides the roller coaster as best he can, having to be funny and then sad and just sort of going with it. But I don't really understand why. Plus, they have him sing, which he's a great singer, and I must say that fast vibrato was amazing on the song that he sang. And you're not gonna cast a Broadway star without getting them to sing. I know that. It just seemed ill-timed, awkward, and that's how I would describe this whole first episode. It's ill-timed in some of the things that they put in there that are bullshit, and it's just awkward and clumsy, and it seems like several shows mashed together and a lot of nonsense. And I'd like to think that it might get better, but it's Ryan Murphy, so I doubt that it will.
Yep, so no, not worth our time. Not we're going to watch any more of it, so forget it. Moving on. And we here at Scots United are big fans of the comedy that have dramatic leanings, but not this pile of garbage. So let's talk now about a show that is more of a straight-up comedy, but it does it well.
You know what's a good show? I'm Sorry, with Andrea Savage. It's on True TV, which you might be asking yourself, that's a channel? Which it is. Although I don't watch it on True TV, I watch it on Netflix. Now, season 1 and 2 are now available on Netflix. So season 2 aired, I think, about 6, 7, 8 months ago. But Andrea Savage, and if you're a fan of podcasts and sort of the LA comedian scene, like, you'll see a lot of people that you know, like Scott Aukerman, Jason Mantzoukas, Paul Scheer. A lot of them kind of come through as her friends. You'll recognize a lot of comics on the show, but she is married in the show to Tom Everett Scott of like That Thing You Do, who's still super adorable. And they have a young daughter of like 4 or 5, depending on what season you're on. And it's just sort of like married life, divorced parents, raising a child stuff. But Andrea Savage, super charming, lots of fun. It gets a little raunchy, or a lot raunchy sometimes.
And not only from Jason Mantzoukas, as you might imagine.
Speaking of Jason Mantzoukas, I have said this before, on Facebook at least, I do think he may be the perfect man. I know he has played like notoriously scummy, crazy, dirty characters, but like when you hear him in interviews, he's like cultured, he has this like encyclopedic knowledge of music, he used to love Gilmore Girls and would cry at certain episodes. He was a big fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I just think he's awesome. And I am not ashamed to say that. I'm not.
Well said. Well, that's it for Scouts United. Ryan Murphy has this sweet, sweet deal with Netflix, and then he sends us this abortion to start us off. I keep wanting to give him a chance, and I keep being disappointed. So maybe I'm done. Maybe also with M. Night Shyamalan, I'm just going to wash my hands of Ryan Murphy. But I'm sorry. It's good. It's fun. Check it out. And we'll see you again next week.